Welcome back, everybody. We are way on our way to making anothermaker.com. We've downloaded the template and installed a bunch of plugins. But one of the things we're going to do along the way is give you some pro tips on how to be a better developer in general. And a lot of those things involve dealing with clients. Now, when I make sites, if I'm doing it for myself, like I'm doing in this video series, I have some flexibility. I can design some things, and if I don't like it, I can go back and redesign it. But when you are doing things for clients, it is a completely different ballgame. And I'm one of those people, if you've seen my comments, if you've seen me do support, I try to be as accommodating as possible. But nothing, and I mean nothing, will drive you crazier than a client who wants to drag the project on and who wants to continually try to just squeeze more work out of you. That, it may be fine in the first project or two, but when you see client after client after client trying to do that, it's a problem. So the number one tip that I have learned when building websites for clients is that I don't do the first bit of work until they completely lay out what they want. So I'm going to maximize this page for a second. You see that we have the menus and all these little blog posts here and pictures and all of this kind of stuff. And so what'll happen is you'll get a client and they will want you to kind of make their website for them. And if they want to pay you to be a content editor, then that's fine, but you need to lay out the content in advance. So what I do is, the first thing I do is I send them to the BeTheme site and I get them to kind of choose the look and feel that they want. And then I tell them, okay, so we have these menus up top and you need to decide exactly which menus you want to have. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to my YouTube page, because this is kind of going to be a blog to go along with the YouTube page. So this is the Another Maker YouTube page, and you can see that what I've done is I've gone to my playlists, and I'm not going to include all the playlists, but basically I would have a home menu, and I don't know exactly what's going to go on there, but then I would have a projects, and then I would say tutorials and tips and tricks. And then I would have, let's do a donate button. And then I don't know if I'm going to do a contact. It doesn't really make sense in my situation to do a contact. And let's do courses, courses and tutorials. Yeah, we'll do courses. And maybe a store. I don't know. We'll decide if we're going to do a store or not. But so essentially, if this was one of my clients, I would make them write these things out at the top. And then if it's going to be a blog or a single page, I would have them specify that. So just, and again, this is very simple. I didn't design a crazy form for it. You could, and I'm going to show you how to do that using Gravity forms. But so I'm going to say this is a blog, and we're actually going to say blog category. And then this will be a blog category. And then this will be a blog category. And then this will be static. And for now, we're going to make these static. If I could type today. It's early. It's 5 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Eve. Okay, so what I've done there, and then this will be a static. This will be dynamic. And we'll talk about that. So what I've done is I forced myself now, before I've started writing any code, before I've started doing any design, to decide what my menu is going to look like, what my pages are going to look like. And then what I would have them do is, for blog categories, I would have them choose the layout. And then for everything, every single item must include any photos and all text. Okay, so I tell people up front, if you don't get me photos, you won't have photos, or you'll have the stock photos that are already there. And I know this all sounds like I'm being super mean, but a lot of times customers don't know what they want. If you ask Apple, their whole thing is, we're going to tell you what you want. And I don't proclaim to be Apple, but you need to guide the customer through the process of deciding exactly what it is they want. And most of the time they're not going to know. And so forcing them to go through this exercise and say, I need to know what these menus are going to be up top. I need to know what types of pages they are. And then each of these pages or blogs that you want me to include, I need the text and all the photos up front before I do my first line of work. And to be honest, I would say about half the clients just fall off the face of the map at that point. And that is perfectly fine. Every once in a while, I'll have a client who will just say, hey, do it for me and write the stuff. And I'm a pretty decent writer, so I can do that. But I still write it all out in text before I bother trying to put it on a web page. So once you have that, the other things you're going to want are their logos. And you are going to want any kind of little favicons or something like that, which usually I'll make that for them. And the last thing you want to do is be specific about the photos. So a lot of times you'll find somebody who will right-click a blurry photo off Facebook and give that to you, and it's an awful experience. So get an idea of the photos that you want and the sizes you want. And so what I do for something like that is, and I don't even go into the back end, you could, but say something like this. Say somebody has this banner photo. Let's go into the media manager. And so we're going to go to the dashboard and the media. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that photo, which I think, which one was it? It's this one right here. So I'm going to explain to them that photo is going to get cropped just like this. And so I make sure that they get me a photo that's at least 912 or 920 pixels wide, and explain to them that it's going to get cropped. So you can't have a picture that's a giant square. And these are concepts that are difficult, but this isn't stuff that people who are paying you to develop websites, and this isn't, maybe you're doing your own website, and this isn't something that you would necessarily think about off the top. You might have a big square picture like your iPhone took, or I know it's rectangle, but you might have a picture that's taller than what is in this thing, and then important parts of it will get cut off. And so just taking the time before you actually make some pages and before you actually start doing the work is just explaining some of these concepts of how all this stuff is going to work to them, what pictures you need, what resolutions you need, what text you need, what menu items you need. Going through all of that will make your project go so much better. So even though I don't know exactly what I'm building because I'm new at this and all that stuff, I've still forced myself to go through and do this exercise on this text document so I could have a framework. And if you are working for somebody else, you absolutely want all that stuff laid in. And so we are going to start knocking stuff out, and the site is going to come together in the next video, even using their own blog post. But that is the most important thing I can tell you before you build your site, is to know what you're building, and it will make the process so much better. So we are going to build some real content in the next video, I promise. Thanks for watching.